Good afternoon, boys and girls. It may be morning class too. Today we're going to read the story about the little Christmas tree, and I think you'll like this one. I do. A little fir tree stood by the edge of a forest, a little way from the great green trees. It had been a windy day, the day the little fir tree was a seed, and he had blown through the air, out of the forest, and into a field. And there he dropped to the ground. As spring and summer and autumn and winter pass by, another spring turns green. The little seed had sprouted, taken root, and grown. 7 times the spring had come, flashing with birds and flowers. 7 times the summer had droned its hot, bee-buzzing days all around him. 7 autumns had whirled their falling leaves, and milkweed parachutes past his head. And now the snow fell once again, and the grasses of the field crackled with the diamond light of ice. His 7th winter had come. Always the little fir tree looked over at the big fir trees in the great dark forest. He felt a little lonesome in his little field, away from the other trees. He wished he were part of the forest and part of something, instead of just growing out there all alone by himself, a little fir tree in a big empty field. One day a man came out of the forest. He carried a shovel and wore long black boots. He walked right up to the little tree and gave him a little shake. Not too little, not too big, not too stiff, yet limber. A beautiful little green fir tree. Just the tree my boy needs to grow strong with. So, tenderly, the man dug into the not quite frozen ground, and he dug a big hole wide around the little fir tree. Tenderly, he took all the far-flung roots and tied them up into a gunny sack. Then he lifted the little tree high into the air and proudly bore him back through the forest. "You're going to a great celebration," said the man, "and you will be part of it. Then, in the early spring, I will bring you back and plant you again where I found you. Each year you will return to the great celebration, and each year you will go back to your own green field in the spring. And you will grow with my little boy who cannot come to you. You shall be his living Christmas tree." For the little boy had a lame leg. He had never been in the forest, and he never left his bed. But he listened to the trees at night, and he watched the trees beyond his windows. The great green tree he saw in the distance, he had wished for that a tree would come to him. Now one was coming, borne on his father's shoulders through the forest. The little fir tree was coming, with a swish of branches and a prickly green smell. It was planted in a great wooden tub at the foot of the boy's bed. "You have come to me from the wild forest," said the little boy, "and you are a part of my very own world. You have come to the great celebration of Christmas." The next night, candles were lit in the windows, and outside the snow fell softly and covered all the trees with white. But inside the house, the little fir tree was green and had a pungent smell, and it was warm. Then they put golden tinsel on his branches and added golden bells and green icicles and silver stars and red and green and blue and purple chains of shining Christmas balls. And soon O shining wonder, the little fir tree was a Christmas tree. Children came that night to sing Christmas carols. They sang new words to an old carol that the boy had made up in the joy of the day. O Christmas tree, O Christmas tree, your greenest branches live for me. You can see I've got a big Christmas tree sitting here beside me. But after winter, spring came in, flashing with birds and flowers, and the little fir tree was returned to the woods. Summer droned its bee-buzzing days all around him, and the autumn came and whirled milkweed parachutes past his head. And when the snow fell still and white over the fields, heavy and silent on the forest, the time had come for the little fir tree to be carried once more to the bright lights of the celebration. And it happened. The man in the long boots came and carried him back to the little boy. Both the boy and the tree were a little bigger now this year, and the light seemed to be even brighter. And again, the children came, and again, they sang Christmas carols in the song they had sang before. Again, they sang the new words to the old tunes that they sang, and they sang them in the living Christmas tree. All winter long, that little fir tree grew in the little boy's window. Then one gentle day, the wind blew warm and the pussy willows bloomed. And the boy's father shouldered the tree and returned him to the field at the edge of the great forest. The tree was growing fast now. Little flowers had sprung up around him, making a young and feathery forest at his feet. Spring warmed into summer, and summer droned into the crisper sounds of autumn. Snow fell early, and it fell soft and deep. The little fir tree dreamed and waited for the time the man in the black boots would come and get him. But the man did not come. More snow fell, but it stopped snowing, and the air was vast and still and very, very quiet. But the man still did not come. The sun shone down and the stars shone down, and no one came. There he was, a little fir tree in a big empty field. The big trees in the dark forest grew far away. The stars were also far away. And without Christmas, the world seemed big and cold and very empty. Then in the white and snowy darkness, the little tree heard singing. Far off indeed, but he still heard Christmas music across the frozen fields. The music grew louder, and, joy of joys, it came nearer. And there, leading the dark band of carolers across the snow, with a lantern in his hand, came the little boy. He was walking out to his tree near the forest. They came and decked the tree with shining splendor of tinsel, and hung red berries and apples and cookies on his branches for the birds to eat. And they sang the song they had sung before. O Christmas tree, O Christmas tree, your greenest branches live for me. Merry Christmas.